Peace of the Lord be with you. Welcome to the Son of the Most Sorrowful YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about 5 harsh truths that I would tell to my younger self. Beginning with number 1, you were created for God alone, and your gifts must be used to serve Him and to elevate others. Created for God alone. We'll start there. So, I always felt like growing up, I never really was the kind of person that fit in. I was considered always to be weird, to be misunderstood, to be cast out. I was bullied when I was a kid. And I was never really, again, able to kind of quite fit, no matter how much or how hard I tried. To all the groups, whether it was at work. I mean, I would even go as far as to say, like, in my own family. Nothing personal, fam. Just the way it is. I have had very, very few people that I can say are my true friend. You know, have there been kind people? Absolutely. You know, are they my friend? No, I can't really say that. You know. That isn't to take away from those kind people. It's just who you call friend and who was a person who showed you kindness in a circumstance or for a period of time. There's a difference. But anyway, back to what I was saying. It wasn't until I went back to church a couple years ago that back in like 2021, that's when I started going back to church. That's when my conversion began to take place. It wasn't until that time that I felt like I was finally somewhere where I belong. And it wasn't even like going to church in and of itself. It wasn't church people that made me feel like I was fitting in. Because I came to realize that church people are not actually that different from people that are out in the world, in the sense that, I mean, just the aspect of fitting in. Right, like I thought that because people were of the same religion, of the same faith, that they would understand the things and the circumstances in life that I was going through, and that was actually not the case. What ended up being the case is, I mean, no different. I mean, I have few friends now. I talk to people at church, but I don't really associate myself with them. I stay away from most people just because they can't really perceive me as I am. So it feels like instead of investing my life, forming friendships, forming bonds with human beings, I am a human being, but like I'm just trying to make a point that I was created for God alone. It feels like that's the only place I'm safe. You know, and that's the only place I'm truly understood, is with the Most High. And it's just a tough life to live, you know what I mean? Like there are times where I wish that I wasn't so. I think that has been the source of like my self-hatred, you know. Well, we're not going to go into that, but I had like a very deep-rooted frustration towards life, and a deep-rooted disappointment towards life, just because it feels like life is such a letdown. Not to get pessimistic or anything, but again, it doesn't feel like I was created to build something permanent here, because this life is fleeting, it's temporary. And the goal is to get to eternity with the Father. So, and I felt immense consolation in reading about the stories of the saints. Particularly, I really like Saint Francis of Assisi. I feel like he understands me, or he understands what it's like to be me. He was a very peculiar saint. Very, very strong in his faith, very, very strong in his convictions. Like, to declare that you have a bride and her name is poverty, like, that's intense, man. So, yeah. And St. Francis was just out in the wilderness with God constantly, reliant on God totally. You know what I mean? And so when I speak about those things, I feel like I lose people and I feel like I lose, you know what I mean? I feel like frustrated in a bit because I feel like, well, I said in a bit. I feel frustrated in a way. Um, because it feels like the Lord in the Gospels gave us all the same instructions. You know what I mean? And you say, well, this is what the Lord said to do. He said, in Luke, somewhere between chapters 5 and 6, I think it was actually chapter 8, where he spoke. He said, woe to those who have like all their problems solved. You know what I mean? For they will weep in the next life. Something like that. I'm butchering it so bad. But what that verse means to say is like, woe to those who are not totally dependent on God. Woe to those who are free from uncertainty. Woe to those who, by their own strength and power, have it all figured out. You know what I mean? Because they have no need for God in the way that He wants to be needed. He wants you to be totally dependent on God, on Him. So, yeah. I feel like because the Gospels make sense to me in a very specific way, and because of my intense suffering and being different, there is really no other place for me other than to be totally consecrated to the Lord, and to serve Him alone, like to serve my own life purpose, pursuing my own dreams or pursuing excellence in my own abilities and recognition for my gifts, for my own vainglory. It's a waste of my life. You know what I mean? I was not created for that. I was created to and given a lot, truly. I say that in glory to the one who created me. But yeah, and that's why, like, I find myself in a confused state when I rely on my own abilities, because I haven't what is the word? It's not just like an adaptability. Well, we'll use that word, adaptability, to be excellent at many things. I could pick up things very quick. I learn fast. Um, and this is like not to brag, for the sake of bragging, but people think, or when they see me operate with a great and get through life kind of like with not that much difficulty, they they feel like it's something they wish they had, perhaps. But it makes it really difficult to decide like what to do or what to stick to. And I feel like because I wasn't designed to be excellent on my own without grace from God or without guidance from God at all times, it actually causes me immense confusion when I have the disposition of my soul of like, look, okay, I gave up my dreams. I gave up pursuing like vainglory in this life. But now I have all this adaptability to do all these great things. But I don't have the wisdom or clarity to find out which is the one I'm supposed to do without God. I'll just be wandering the earth, aimlessly doing a bunch of different things, and it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. So I was created for God alone, and my gifts must be used to serve Him and elevate others. That's why He made me good at everything that I put my mind to. That's why one of my greatest flaws is laziness. That's why one of my greatest flaws is pride. That's why one of my greatest weaknesses is like yeah, vanity, just wanting to delight myself in my own gifts, um because I'm supposed to be in constant denial of myself so that I could serve the Lord properly. um so yeah, that's number one. That's what I would tell myself. That's why you're here. Stop wasting your time. You're here to serve the Lord, and that's it. um Having your own dreams, having your own attachments to people, places, and things and experiences is not going to serve you in the long term. So just surrender. And yeah, I had to go through a lot to get there. Um, I could already hear my stubborn version of myself. I'm stubborn now, but in my early 20s, you couldn't tell me not to pursue my dreams, not to, you couldn't tell me to give up on pursuing a musical career. You couldn't talk me out of it. Nobody could. Uh, it took a lot to get me there. We'll talk about that at some point, I'm sure. But moving on to number two, uh, detach from the opinions of others. The only person you need to please is God. Okay, so that was one thing that's something that I still struggle with, right? Because growing up, and God bless my parents, and praise the Lord for giving me the parents that He gave me, because they really demanded excellence of me. They demanded excellent grades. They demanded that I perform extremely well in my extracurricular activities. But yeah, because I grew up like that, and because I grew up like sheltered in my home where I received a lot of love, and I went out there in the world and it was kind of like the opposite, right? It's you don't receive love or praise for the things that you do. You actually receive a lot of hate or a lot of like the excellent things you do. And so for a long time I thought it was my job to like, oh well, that person's supposed to like me, so I'm supposed to just try harder, right? Uh not so, not so. Um, and I was a prisoner of that for a long time, as I'm sure some of you watching this could possibly relate to that feeling of wanting to please everybody. Uh, you can't, it's very difficult to undo all that programming in a short period of time. So, I mean, I'm working on it now. I'm better at it now, but it's still something that I feel like needs work. So yeah, that's number two. Uh, Detach from the opinions of others, and you only need to please God. Um, it's something that I would tell my younger self. Um, because I'm paying for it now, right? Whatever I didn't get done at that point in time, I have to do it now. Otherwise, who's gonna pay for it? The next generation, my kids, if I have them. uh, that's another video right there. Um, Number three is make your life count, man. You don't live forever, and your choices have serious consequences. Okay. So make your life count. Best way to do that is hand it over to the Lord. You don't live forever, man. You don't reincarnate. This life is temporary. Once you're dead, you're dead. Uh, you either end up in paradise with the Father, in purgatory, in purgation, rooting out the imperfections that you didn't overcome by grace in this life, or eternal death, man. Death forever. Final destination. It's forever. Doesn't stop. So, your choices have serious consequences, good or bad. You're going to make bad choices, man. It's part of life. We're all human. But as much as possible for His glory, should try and make good choices. Cooperate with the grace. Don't just pretend like God is not real. Make your life count. Life is short, so you might as well live a virtuous life, right? Because what's the point of living life if you're just gonna, be a piece of trash, right? And take away from the goodness and the beauty that is in the world. Which, I mean, there's both. There's both. In this world, there is just some horrible, ugly, horrendous things. Things that never see the light of day. Things that should never be spoken about. That are happening every waking moment of day. Every waking moment of every day. Things so horrible. Some of us can't even imagine. And on the other hand, there is extraordinary kindness and beauty. And I'm not just talking about like in the material, in the natural. Like, yes, there's beautiful people, aesthetic wise. Yes, nature is astounding and awesome. And even now in the present time, and for some time, we've been able to see like what's out in space, the stars, the constellations, the galaxies, the quasars, the nebulas, the novas, whatever. Incredible things, beautiful. Boggles the mind. The same way, that there is just horrible stuff, there is incredibly beautiful things and experiences and people in this life. But to my point, yeah, it's better to contribute to the good. It's better to contribute to the greater and to not take away from it. First of all, by denying that God is responsible for everything beautiful, everything that is beautiful that has been created, and you know what I mean. Obviously, not things that are man-made. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm only speaking of the natural, of the things that man could never be responsible for. I'm not trying to. I don't know. I feel like we're taking away from the point. That's my point. Make your life count. You don't live forever, and your choices affect others. They affect you are following by example, leading by example, and following by example, I suppose. But leading by example is the one that I was trying to make, So set a good example. Let your life be a witness of God being real. Be a kind person. Be an exemplary person. Make your life count. Okay. Number 4. Give in to hatred if you want to live a much shorter and more miserable life. Okay. So for a long time, I let the pain of being different, the pain of being cast out, fill me, and then like just the negative, the rejection. It's like a lot of rejection from people, the normies, if you will. I would say the normies especially, but even other people that are like really smart or like really eccentric, I face rejection from them too, because like there's levels, man. And I'm not saying that I'm up there or anything, but like, I don't know. You would think that intelligent people are like, oh, another one. Yes, let me interact with this person, and see what they're about, and like share intellect. And there's actually a lot of those conversations have been full of conflict for me. And it's just like, yeah, I guess smart people test each other in that way, or they debate, or they want to compete. It's it's very interesting aspect of life to come across other intelligent beings on this planet that are human. But the hatred, man, will just eat you alive. So, and for those that know me, they feel they know me as a very, very loving person, very giving, very kind soul. And I think just the pain of being alive in a world that is unfair, in a world that is ruthless, and unforgiving. Um, yeah, I've driven into hatred, and it has been a total waste of time. It's caused my health to plummet into less than ideal uh state states, because obviously life is like a up and down. So yeah, don't hate, man. Don't hate. It's like that quote says, which I don't know who said it, but it's like resentment is like drinking poison and hoping that it kills your enemies. It's not good. So that's number 4. Harsh truth I would give to myself. Don't hate. You're only destroying yourself, and you will live a more miserable life and shorter than you already know intend to live. Hatred is not going to make it better, for sure. And we're going to go at number 5. Sacrifice is the key to victory. No pain, no gain. So, and that honestly, in many ways, is probably my favorite aspect of the faith, is just sacrifice. Remembering that the Lord sacrificed himself on the cross for our salvation. That many of God's chosen in Scripture had to live a life of sacrifice, had to deny themselves the pleasures of this world, the opportunities of this world, vain glory and satisfaction of the senses. And they had to endure great suffering. If you want to get anywhere in life, you have to endure sacrifice. You have to put off things. You have to delay gratification. You have to forego experiences and forsake good times and happiness for greatness and for living an exemplary life. Like a good leader who is respected and who is admired is the kind of person that suffers with his people, with his team, right? I think of all the supervisors that I've had in my various jobs. The ones that and I haven't had this thought that many times, but the ones that have actually, like, in my heart made me feel like, dude, like, I just want to work for you. Whatever you say, like, you have, by your deeds and actions and by your sacrifice of not just staying in the office with the AC, but actually getting down and helping us unload trucks and helping us, like, move stuff around. When you have other responsibilities to take care of, that has moved me to loyalty. You know what I mean? Um, And those are things that, because it wasn't something they had to do. They earned the chair. You know what I mean? So once you're there, it's not necessary. You could just say like, "Hey, hang in there," or "Good job, you guys," or "Just try your best," or whatever. But like I said, and it wasn't most of my supervisors over the years, or my bosses, or whatever. It was just yeah. Or I mean, I guess a better example is like exercise, right? If you want to work out and if you want to like actually be strong, uh, you gotta just stop eating garbage, man. You gotta stop drinking alcohol. Uh, Not that you can never have it, but you gotta give up. If you're drinking 3, 4 times a week, you gotta cut it to like one day. If you don't want your gains to be affected or your health to be affected, or I don't know, man. Like working out, training hard is not easy. And so for you to pretty much be going to the gym like 3 to 4 times a week, hard, hitting it hard, and you're partying the whole weekend, it's like, for what, dude? For what? You're compromising your results. So without that sacrifice, you might be stronger than you were, but you're not gonna be strong like the way you could be if you sacrifice. And when I was young, I didn't really think of that too much. I think I was hyped on my own abilities and my own way of doing things. So I was just speed, lightning, go, go, go. Don't think about it. Very impulsive. Um, and things had to be fun for me to do it or get through it. I think in some way that's still true, but it's not like before. At this point in my life, I'm glad to say that by the grace of God, I have developed more discipline than I used to have. But that is the key to life. Sacrifice is the key to victory. You want to win, you got to sacrifice. You want to, have an advantage over your competitors, you got to sacrifice, more than them. More than them. You got to do things that they're not willing to do. And if it hurts, good. You're going to get the ROI that you're looking for, the return on investment. So yeah, there you have it. 5 harsh truths that I would tell my younger self. This has been the Son of the Most Sorrowful YouTube channel. I guess I'll see you guys here next time.